So we're live. This is Transparency and Merit, and this is Stoic Calm. I'm here with my kind of longtime partner, Joe.
Brian and JP here. Yes,
Abs-
back again for some Stoic Calm.
Formerly known as Mr. Midnight Movie, and I haven't we haven't done a show in a while together, so this is kind of making things back. So have you listened to any shows I've done on my solo?
I have.
Agreement or disagreement?
Hmm. Let's see. I think I went back and listened to your Easter one. There wasn't much going on. A lot of short ones. Do any stick out in your mind as being something of a special nature?
Not really. Not really. And
No.
I'm gonna go. I was gonna go into two issues. One I was gonna deal with. I was on a show called Chaotic Truth, and I might re-edit and just put that the show that I was on in the description thing there. And there was, I don't know how else to say the better word, but an Afrocentrist on the show,
Okay.
and he's a person that believes in Black Egypt,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and he believed that
I
Egyptian.
like I like so much about what some of these guys say until they get to the Egyptian nonsense. But um, I do know that there are they talk a lot about sovereignty and a lot of the misdeeds, like where the country went wrong. And so I'm kind of curious. I'll be definitely interested in hearing uh, this this take and see if it's something that we can get into.
Well, there were a lot of people on that panel that it was chaotic truth, and this will be the second time that I've been on that show. I have to stand up for a minute because my leg is starting to hurt. Hold on one second.
Movement is always the best. Get that circulation, get that blood down there.
Yes, yes. So
Oh, did I cut out? Hmm. Oop. Are you there? Can you hear me now? Well, it seems like we're live, but I don't hear Brian at all. Are you sure you're not muted? Hmm. Hello there, Donning Armor. Welcome to the show. Do you hear Brian? Both of us. Yeah? No, Brian. He'll be right back. I think he's having some issues, but I'm glad that you did make it to the show. Uh, Brian and I haven't really done too many together. He's having some, but he's been doing pretty good at staying consistent and being here for y'all. And yeah, he dropped off the call for a second. He should be right back. Um, yeah. I do go back and I listen to a lot of Brian's shows. We really, just have such a very different outlook on things and discovering what it is, what are America's ills, and uh, I'm I think he kind of pulls some problems out, and he's looking for some how do you say it? He's looking for some remedy, and I'm not looking for remedy. If you have, it's like putting a Band-Aid over melanoma, which is a systemic problem. So I'm looking for cure, and that often leads to a lot of difficult conversations, because a lot of people really are so at odds. So, multiculturalism is America's illness. I don't find that to be so much the problem. I don't see anything problem with being different. We all did begin the same way, after all, biologically. What happens after that is really some sort of strange toss-up, and things get thrown in the air, and lands in such a way that most people who are stuck in their own ways have a problem adapting, and more than even adapting is really taking a close look at what has gone, what is the differences, what is it that makes us so different. After all, I think we all have something similar in regards to wanting to be individuals. We want to be ourselves. I saw Brian. He was checking back in, but I'm not sure what happened there. Stop that BS, JP. You know I dislike that we are all human. Man, I don't know where you're coming from on that. If you don't feel that we are all human, and we're all from the beginning, we all start the same way, that's nonsense. Sure, we have we have differences that are, yeah, I don't worry about that, Scott. I'm so far above that. I do feel love is the answer, but also a mind that can accept differences and can learn from differences. If you don't think you can learn from somebody who has a completely different background than you, you're sadly closed-minded and myopic, and in my mind, of a lower nature, and that's too bad. That's too bad. If you think we're gonna somehow end up in a world where everyone's the same, you're so mistaken. The amount of mixtures going on in the world right now, it's unstoppable. It's
Joey, I have a quick question. I had to come back to the stream.
beyond one second.
Okay.
Beyond mandated government intervention to create get back to some system where everyone is the same, is beyond unreasonable and pathetic. And it sounds to me like you're more pro-government than you really should be, and clearly completely incapable and unaware of what self-governing truly means. But go ahead, Brian. What's up?
Oh, we had a little bit of difficulties. I wonder how long the no sound was for me, and did it ever cut off for you? Because I was cut off. So
Don't
I'm
worry
glad
about
you
it.
were.
You're back. You're back. So let's just go.
But I wanted to mention that I was on a show called Chaotic Truth, and he's a black conservative from I think his parents are from Nigeria. I think he was born in America.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to say that I was on with I guess you could call him an Afrocentrist, and he is one of those people that believe that white supremacy controls the world. And one of the things he pointed out was his belief that Egypt had, I think he even said it had Wi-Fi and spaceships or whatever. It was kind of like
Well,
A Wakanda kind of thing. And although Egypt is in Africa, uh, Egypt is not necessarily doesn't mean that it's black. They did have blacks in Egypt, from my understanding, but the pharaohs, I don't think that there's large amounts of evidence, and if I can be proven wrong, I certainly will, take this onto a case. But that Egypt is more of an Arab nation than it is a black nation, and it's not. It has nothing to do with people are dumb or this or that, but there is a belief there that Egypt is a black African nation because it shares the continent with Africa. My saying is India shares the continent with China, and the Indians are not going to take responsibility for for the Great Wall of China, and the Chinese are not going to take responsibility for the Great Wall. For the Taj Mahal. And there's a lot of ego there. And like I said, I certainly could be wrong, but sometimes arguing against someone's beliefs, it's like arguing sometimes with an Afrocentrist or even with a white nationalist. It's often their ego is put into that belief, and it's like arguing with a fundamentalist Christian or a fundamentalist Muslim. You're not going to crack that code. And then I was going to mention there was a little incident yesterday that happened with Howard and I. Howard has my personal phone number,
oh wow.
and he mentioned Paul Pot, and he spelled his name, because Paul Pot's name is spelled Polpot, and he spelled it Paulpot. And he said, "What do you know about Paul Pot?" And I said something like, "You're going to pot," or something like that. And I think he was trying to get an "I gotcha" moment, and I just didn't even recognize it.
Paul.
But to me, it was a little bit on the juvenile side. What Howard was trying to do, like that, I didn't know that Paul spelled his name, with the way he spelled it, and it's just like. And then he tried to mention one of my family members, and it's like Howard. Howard is intellectual, but I don't think he's. I don't know what I don't think he's. I think he's intellectual, but I don't think he's intelligent. I don't think he knows. Even when he's right, he knows he has a filter for his actions. His not
I've
only for
heard
his
him.
mouth,
I've
but
heard him change, and he will never admit it. But he changed some of his points of views between 2020 and now. Some of his views changed dramatically from commentary that I had made to using some of the commentary I had made without giving me any credit, but to really just make it like he had been thinking that way all along. And he's kind of a pathetic guy. I always tell him to, he's in a position to put on his adult pants and really be a force of good for people and for our show. But he rarely wants to demonstrate that. Instead, he'd rather perseverate on really stupid things.
yeah, and I guess to me, I mean, at least with the relationship with me, I guess he enjoys like trying to torment me and make me angry, and it's like and push my buttons. And I'm not here to be tested by you. I mean, I know the show is called Stoic Calm,
Mhm.
but I'd prefer like if you're going to be that way, not be around. I mean, I'd rather like with you and me, we may have differences of opinion, but it's a conversation. It's not like a competition. And Howard tends to treat these things like a competition, and to a point, he comes across as very juvenile. Like he wants to flex his intellectual muscles so everybody knows how smart and intellectual he is. And really and truly, with human to human relationships, nobody really cares, and they care how you treat them. And I don't think Howard, at least with regards to me, knows how to treat me. I don't know how he is with other people, but it's like he threatens me. He he threatens to you know take the show down, and now he like asked a question about one of my family members, and I don't know why he would do that. What's the purpose of that? And then he made a joke about it, but it's like the guy doesn't seem to have a filter with his behavior, and that's a problem. That's kind of problematic. It's like,
It is, and it goes back to what I've said before. He's in a position where he could really use his his awareness and his knowledge for something better, and he chooses to and use immature language and his tries to basically use his logic to a fault, and um, that's unfortunate. I will give props though to Beppe for giving me his mama's recipe for bolognese sauce. So there is that.
yeah. Is it better than when we went to Ugo's?
I haven't tried it yet. We didn't really talk. He just sent it to me, and um, he's still angry, and he says he's having trouble listening to you and your points lately. So
Really?
yeah, didn't really get a chance to talk to him though.
Well, I don't know what he's having trouble. Like, yeah, I mean, right now my diabetes has gotten the better of me, and I'm trying to do better with my life, and with
Mhm.
diet, exercise, and everything else. And I think that's the main thing that I kind of want to focus on.
Yeah.
And I'll focus a little bit on the news. I mean, Elon Musk is, I guess, trying to buy Twitter, and we kind of see to a degree how entrenched the ideological culture is in a lot of these big tech companies, and a lot of it is about ego and ideology
Hmm.
that control these companies. Not it's not even about profit. It's about I believe that I'm right, and I know what is best for the for most of the people. And Master of Rope says, "Boo hoo, people are garbage." Master of Rope, I think. Master of Rope is a bit of a sadist, in my opinion. Um, I think he believes in his own pleasure. And I don't often advertise my show on the page that we were on because they're kind of negative about it. And it's like, yeah, they don't necessarily like my show and they don't like the points that I'm trying to make, and that's fine. You
Well, one thing we can look at is our numbers, and they have risen. Your consistency more than mine, but consistent shows have been helpful, and we're getting a lot more numbers, and we'll be doing some nice updates to our website and doing some things that outside out in the world that's opening up and getting busier by the day. And I think we can really kind of get our awareness up aside from some of our other projects. So stick with us, even if you disagree. Disagreement's fine. I disagree with a lot of what Brian says too. I think a lot of the ideas are antiquated. I think they're sidestepping what has truly gotten us into this mess. and I don't want to, I'm not trying to pull rank or knowledge or awareness or anything like that, but I've just, I'm seeking and looking into cures more than I am. This is what I said when you were away. I'm looking for more than remedies or putting band-aids over a melanoma. I'm looking more for a cure, and a cure seems to be something that people can't get to if they're seeing that people of different racial makeup or socioeconomic makeup or whatever it is, whatever the differences are. I think that we're in a world now. It does the younger people especially are well, I think they're a bit robotic and less informed, and the education system has failed them, and a lot of parents failed to seize an opportunity when the schools closed down to really make it a huge difference. Instead, they want to walk right back into a system that has been failing them, has been destroying the middle class, taking us into a unprecedented area of the haves versus have-nots, and the divide is so wide that it's gotten dangerously bad. And so, anyways, yeah, that was my little bloviation.
Well, I mean, the truth is, there's not a whole hell of a lot most people can do. Most people are powerless. They're powerless to who is elected their leader, because they're only one person. They may be one person who and can have other people that think kind of like them, but they're still, on average, rather powerless to enact change. And at the end, we're all going to die one of these days, and sooner or later. And I guess the only person you can perhaps change is yourself, and even self-change comes at, often comes at very baby steps. I have made some steps to improve my life. I used to drink a 2 liter a bottled diet soda a day. I don't drink any soda anymore, and I used to scarf it down, and I don't do that anymore too. And I think that moderation is really a key to a much more happy and more fulfilling life, at least with regards to myself. There are people that believe that, perhaps believe that indulgence. And I was looking at Twitter. A nation is born stoic and dies Epicurean. And to a degree, it's kind of like a YOLO, live for today, for tomorrow you may die kind of thing. And it's like, I don't know. I think another thing to be said is remember the past, or learn from the past, prepare for the present. I mean, prepare for the future and live in the present. And that is a struggle. And Master of Rope says, you are never powerless unless you're a coward, like me, Brian. And I am both I believe in standing my ground, but I also believe in fleeing if the fight is if the fight is not fruitful. If all I'm going to get is hurt, or maybe even hurt another person, and the damages are worse, sometimes it is intelligent to be seen as a coward and flee. Sometimes it's smart to fight, but for the most part, it's best to avoid physical conflict as best as possible. Joe, do you have anything to add?
Not really. Dennis asked what happened to the topic. I don't think we really came in much with a topic other than to have a conversation. I think that's where we're going with it. If you'd like to add to it, feel free. Either ask a question or give us a call before we run off into the distance. Be it,
I want to say, yeah,
yeah.
I
Go ahead.
wanted to say, well, I'm going to probably look to go on other shows, but I wanted to say that when I was on the show, what the hell's the name of it? Chaotic Truth. I got a little too excited, and my ego got the better of me, and that's one of the things that I want to work on is learning to keep my big fat yap shut until I have the right. There are some things I said that were true, and other things that I said that were just I don't think we're as good, and put my words, the way I put my words together. And I think as I get older, I think I may be lacking, some cognitive abilities. It's just my memory and stuff. I think I'm going to have a little test on that when I go see the doctor, like if I'm having a little bit of cognitive decline.
Get a stress test. I've heard those are real effective too.
I might do that. I think when I hang up with you, I'm going to see about getting. Is it stress test? Like where they put up your. I've had a stress test like with my heart and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I was on the treadmill. Oh man, they wanted me to go for a full 15 minutes of like really hard walking, and they kept on bumping up the thing, and I could only last about 8.
Really? I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
Well, no, I mean they bumped it up where I was like it
To a
was
light jog.
yeah, and it was like, oh my god, I'm
Oh yeah.
done.
You should be able to do.
But I still think I can take June.
I think with the pressure of it, being tested, maybe, but you should be, able to do more than that.
You're right.
But
Have
yeah,
you
you
had,
stress test.
have you had a stress test, Joey?
No, I haven't. But I give myself stress tests. I have been jogging and increasing my distance and my watching. I've been sleeping a little bit more. I kind of maybe burnt the candle at both ends a little too hard for a couple weeks. So I think my body just gave me a natural realignment and feel great and sleep and eating. Really careful now about what I'm eating, but I still make mistakes.
I do as well. And I do feel best when I'm fasting. The less I eat, the better I feel. Um, and I really want to lose. If I can lose about 10 to 15 pounds, I think I could probably reverse my diabetes and my high blood pressure, and that's one of my um, for before the end of the year to lose a few extra pounds. In your dreams, give me a break. Do differences between people matter at all to JP? Uh, Joey, that's a question for you. Do you have an answer to that?
Sorry, I muted myself. No, look, I'm looking at the heart of the matter. And if you knew anything at all about matter and the true, the essential um, aspect of what I seek and what I learn, you'd understand that I am looking at the heart of the matter, and it's a difficult thing. There's been a whole lot um, of diversion tactics, and I see right through propaganda. I see right through a lot of things that people accept, and I've heard somebody say that truth is not to be understood. Truth is to be accepted. Truth is irreducible, and a lot of people miss that point. And and I am truly sick of people who say that, oh, my truth versus your truth, and there is but one truth. And as hard as that is to accept, it's what I go by, and I try to live by the golden rule.
You and me both. I try to live by the golden rule, and I try to work as hard as I can. And it is for me a struggle, to a degree, a struggle day to day.
And by the way, the golden rule is you want to treat others the way you want to be treated. I've tried my best. I have been taken advantage of. I have made mistakes and errors in judgment. I've always considered myself to be a good judge of character, but I've failed sometimes. I have been left standing at the equator with, and with, uh, just waiting for that connection. But I'm certainly not perfect, but I am doing my best to live by that golden rule. That was an answer. Good Lord, I don't know what he means, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that people like donning armor have such a difficulty accepting that people are different and have differences, and that is such a concern. I'll tell you right now, traveling and seeing different aspects and different parts of the world, while it may not seem to have helped one angry Jew a whole heck of a lot, it certainly shows you that people are people, and no matter where you go, and it does kill that sort of I don't know what you call it, agenda or misdirection on humanity. I think there is a lot to be said for seeing different people, different cultures, being immersed in different cultures. A lot of I've been told many times with people that go, for example, if they're in the military and they are stationed in a country and they treat it strictly as an opportunity to serve their country without trying to understand the culture that they are being subject to. I think they have the most difficult time, and they don't come back as enriched as the one who visits another place, a foreign place, or just a different state without having that ability to look at the differences and learn from what is different from what they're used to.
So I was in the midst of posting our show, but I will um, wait on that a little bit because, again, Joe and I both want the best for everyone. I do live in a level of reality, though. I mean, there are things that can be more uh, dangerous, and I certainly have my preferences, and I'll address my preferences perhaps in a later show. I have my own struggles, and sometimes I have my struggles with human beings. Sometimes people enter life, aka Howard, who make your life more of a struggle. And it's kind of like I've struggled a lot in my life, and now like if I try to go online and do something, someone wants to basically enhance that struggle. They don't want to make things better. They actually want to make things worse for their own ego purposes, not for anything other than that, because that's their main agenda, is to stroke their ego. Anyway, Joe, do you have anything to add before I end this show?
I guess it sounds generic. It's like the song, "People Are People." I think it's a Paul McCartney lyric, right? People are people, no matter where you go. But I find it true wherever you go. People are seeking to make a good life for themselves, and there are bad seeds, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're going to see that element. And it's truly a sad thing to me when people are unable to recognize not only the biology of how we are similar, but just in general that we may not be the same, but we are connected. No two trees are exactly alike, but many are connected through networking, and it's a difficult equation to reconcile at the end of the day. So, anyways, good job. I think I'm through as well.
I'll end on this. There is a unique experience there are unique experiences that everyone has, and with regards to media, with regards to cinema, with regards to social media and corporate media, there is a whole thing out there through the looking glass, and what is reality, and what is perception, what is gaslighting, what are lies, what are illusions, and all of that. And I think Joe and I will get into that, and we will give our perceptions on what are illusions, what are realities, and I'd like other people to join us and maybe have that discovery on what is reality and what are illusions. I come from this as a person who has a grand knowledge, or a fairly in-depth knowledge of cinema, who knows, that movies throughout the years try to fool with people's perception. And the media has done that now. And I will go further into detail on how the media has changed. And they're, trying to change the perceptions of reality that I see and that I observe. And it's not out of ego, but it's out of plain reality. That's where I want to go. With that being said, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and share this video if you gain anything. Also visit our website at transparencyandmerit.com. Thank you.
Also, I'd like to say hello to Illusion2456. I don't know. Oh, you were on the podcast once. Well, welcome back. I don't recall when that might have been, but please do, if you get our alerts, do feel free to join us again. Maybe we'd have a lot to get into. Who knows? Give us a chance. Come on back. Yeah, thank you. Join, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get reminded, and join us again for another episode, a thrilling episode of Transparency and Merit.
Yes, and we will, we will talk about our perceptions, and do our perceptions align with reality of our perceptions are put upon by the ego. Thank you for listening, and again, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and also, if you can share the video, share it. Thank you.